Thank you for the work that you're doing with what's going on in the world right now. How do you feel being a journalist at this point in time?
It's a very challenging time to be in journalism. Obviously the president and many of his supporters are attacking the Fourth Estate. The president has called us the enemies of the American people, which is a baffling thing to say and offensive in some ways. And he has armies of people whose job it is to undermine us. And, that's a challenge, but it also means that we need to rise to the challenge. It means that we need to make sure that our work is squeaky clean, that our facts are right and that we don't give them ammunition.
I have some experience living with alcoholic people, and this sort of reminds me of that kind of relationship now that the press has with Donald Trump. Like, he does something crazy and then everybody's trying to figure out how he's thinking. And that's a dangerous trap, I think, to get into. Is there a way to detach and just look at what he's doing? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, to detach from the emotion of it?
Yeah, I think the less conjecture, the better. The more that we report on the facts of what he does and try to figure out why he does things. A good example might be when he fired the FBI director, James Comey. He did this, he took this act, and, we had to ask, well, why did he do it? Then the White House said he did it because of these memos written, this one by the Deputy Attorney General and another recommendation from the Attorney General saying that they disapproved of the way that FBI Director Comey had handled the Hillary Clinton investigation. I think it's incumbent upon us to say, well, as I did, that doesn't make any sense. He didn't criticize that at the time. In fact, the only criticism he offered was that he thought Comey wasn't tough enough on Hillary Clinton. So, just present the facts, and ultimately, the president usually explains his actions one way or the other, for better or for worse. And, I think that we just need to stick to the facts and what we know and analyze that and not engage in hyperbole and not engage in, armchair psychoanalysis. That's not our job. And just report on what he's doing.
I agree, because I just feel like when people sit around trying to think about how he's thinking and what he's thinking, it's getting away from what's actually happening, which is part of the game, I think. And I appreciate you, because you seem to just cut through all that and just look at what's going on.
Another example might be his tweet about whether or not he had tapes. And I reported, after he acknowledged that he didn't have any tapes, why he did it was a mystery. Whether it was bluster or a threat, or he was trying to push Comey in the direction of telling the truth, which is the explanation that people around the president were saying. Now, the truth is, we don't know what it was, but we need to provide all the options and also acknowledge we don't know why he did it, and we won't know until he comes out and says it, and assuming that we believe that when he says it. So, I just think we need to be straightforward, and 46% of the electorate voted for him, and we need to be their reporters too.
Yeah, it's a very, very challenging time, and it just helps when I see people like you just be very calm and sort of just, don't succumb to the pressure. That's what I feel like. You're not going to do that.
Yeah, look, I'll be talking about this in my remarks tonight, but people are getting emotional, have gotten emotional, and it's understandable given how many norms he is violating, changing, altering, and also at how much he directly goes after the press. But we can't take the bait. We have to be there, reliable, dependable, trustworthy, and not give them ammunition. And, it is something that we all have to be vigilant about, is making sure that we are just reporting the facts and the truth and, dispassionate analysis and, let the pundits and the people who are partisans or ideologues, let them have their say, have a good debate, that's fine, but we need to be there for, not everything he does is wrong. He's not wrong that Washington, D.C. is a swamp. Now, you could argue maybe his version of draining the swamp is not actually draining the swamp, but he's not wrong about that. He's not wrong that trade deals have hurt the working class of this country. I mean, he's not wrong about that. So there are plenty of things that just empirically, we just need to report without fear or favor and let people decide what they think.
Thank you so much.
Where were you looking at? No, that's good. All right, cool. Thank you so much.
Congratulations on being honored tonight.
It's very excited.
You flew all the way out here.
Absolutely, just for this. We're going to do our show here tomorrow and Tuesday while we're here. So we'll be doing some interviews, and it's great to be in LA, and it's great to be honored by this club.
What part of LA are you staying in while you're here?
No, right down near here, right downtown. Yeah.
Well, I just want to tell you how grateful I am to the press right now for the job that you're doing, telling the truth, even though there's so much pressure.
Well, it's a challenging time, and obviously, we have to prove that we're up to the task of cutting through layers and layers, and with the president as active as he is on social media, it means that you can never rest. And I'm just so proud of my colleagues in all media, in print and on broadcast, for all the work we're doing to try to get our arms around why people are so dissatisfied with their government and what the government is doing about it. And I think it really was a landmark election in that regard.
I saw that clip of you when Rex Tillerson, they wouldn't allow you to speak to him, or and you were like trying to get his attention a couple of times. And I mean, how does that feel that they won't speak to you?
It feels terrible, but it feels terrible mostly because Americans are not able to understand what their State Department is doing, what our foreign policy is. We don't have many opportunities to ask questions. They're not as accessible as they used to be in both Republican and Democratic administrations. The tradition of traveling with the press corps goes back to Henry Kissinger, and that's all changed now, and so it's quite distressing.
I don't know why I want to talk about this, but I saw this documentary about Ulysses Grant and the ugliness that came up after the Civil War, and there's a certain similarity of the things that are happening today that I saw in that documentary.
Well, we go through cycles, and we've seen troubles before. I started as a reporter in the 60s when, we lost a president, when Martin Luther King Jr. was killed, when Bobby Kennedy was killed, right here in LA. And we've gone through wars and still are in Afghanistan. So what we have to do is figure out a way for us in the press to do a better job of explaining what's happening in Washington and the rest of the world.
And everybody's sort of reacting all the time.
He still has a lot of support from his base. So, and I can't take sides, I'm just trying to figure out what it is that's happening.
I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, the most important thing is not to react, but to just be detached.
And the facts.
So I hear that you're accepting the TRUTHTELLER Award tonight on behalf of Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein.
Yes, I appreciate the opportunity to have it's befitting that Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein get a chance to tell our story, and to tell it in a truth-telling way that they did, because it does justice to our communities. And to Khalif, to get his story out there, they did an amazing job. Spike TV, Harvey Weinstein, Jay-Z, the media most of all. I really want to congratulate the media and thank them, because realistically, it's you guys who get our story out there. And if it weren't for you and people like you and the media like you to tell the stories that are not always told, it helped make a difference in the way that we got laws changed. I mean, we have a Khalif Browder law. We changed for the raise the age law in New York. And then it also helped perpetuate the thought that we still need changes made, and so that's why I'm running for mayor in New York.
That's great. So tell me a little bit, just for those people who have not seen the stories can you tell me a little bit about the project?
I mean, the story is literally, it's to me, it's my brother. That I love my brother dearly, and I love my mom. And for those that don't know, but I'm sure a lot of people know, but for those that don't know, Khalid was a 16-year-old boy, and in that night that they took him, we realized right there that justice was blind. To hear that a 16-year-old could get taken out of his home and essentially kidnapped for something insignificant, which is accused of being of stealing a backpack, and that's what kept him in jail, and it inevitably took his life for 3 years. And so this perpetuated the people to start saying, what are we doing in the justice system?
And so you're making changes and taking this and running for office, taking this tragedy and running for office and doing something positive about it.
I think it's the only way to go. And, you guys provided that platform. When it comes to the media, if we keep on telling the stories and you guys keep on telling the stories, it helps that people's awareness be brought out. And now we can make the changes necessary where equality can be spread thin instead of just for one sector of people that can afford a $3,000 bail. And that's what happened with my brother. We couldn't afford a $3,000 bail. Most poor communities can't. We end up having to try and bear the heavy lifting where most people actually just take plea bargains. And so they never really get to have their truth on their day in court. Khalid was just the difference in all of us, which is why we continue his legacy.
Well, I have to say that it's not everybody who can step up and take action. A lot of times people just get upset. And
Thank you.
Good, that's inspiring to me.
And, they already took my mother, you took the head of a family, and then you took my youngest brother. And so with that, it's like, I have nothing else for you to lose. And so why not make a difference? Because I can't sit home and go and continue life as a regular person because I'm not full anymore. A mother is important to the family, and when she died of a heart attack, and so that echoed the thought that she broke her heart from losing her youngest son.
I'm so sorry for your loss, but I want to thank you so much for being here today and for sharing your story and for your courage.
And thank you for the media doing the stories, because like I said, if it weren't for you guys, we wouldn't have the story that we have, and it echoed throughout the United States and outside, so that now it's told on a huge level, and people want to see change.
I know you from the Wonder Years, is that correct?
Yes. Oh, sure. A few other things, yeah.
I know you're a big theater actor as well.
Try to do a play a year if I can. Yeah. So.
Do you prefer the theater?
This year to do one. Yeah. Oh yeah. We always prefer theater.
What are you going to do this year? Do you think?
Usually at this event, I introduce some of the award winners. So, yeah, they rope me in every year, and it's great because I get to meet people like Quincy Jones, and tonight I can't wait to meet Andrea Mitchell. So.
No, I have to say I got to talk to Jake Tapper and Andrea Mitchell, and it was an absolute thrill.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, they're the best, especially now. Yeah, now, yeah.
I do feel like the art and theater will be more important now than ever.
Well, I'm very close with Tommy Kail and Lin-Manuel Miranda, and if you listen to them talk about education, any politician who wants to cut the arts has no idea where education is going. You cannot just keep feeding kids what's on their phone. So the arts are going to be the most important part of education, and Hamilton proves that. So, yeah.
That's great. And what play are you planning on doing this year? Do you know?
A good friend of mine, Shem Bitterman, wrote a play called A Stone Witch, and Steve Zuckerman is directing it, and I'm hoping we can do it.
But I got to do a story about garlic and importing garlic from China, and like how the government puts tariffs in place to prevent too much garlic coming in. And it was a lot of fun. There was nefarious factions from China that are trying to bring more garlic in, and some people are trying to bring them out. And California's a big garlic producing state, so there was a lot of concern about this. So it was a lot of fun, yeah.
I used to live in Northern California. They had a garlic festival, right?
Gilroy. I'm from Sacramento, so yeah. No, yeah. Gilroy. garlic capital of the U.S. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, for one thing, it's kind of nice to do something that isn't about the president.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's fun. Like and like finding like stories like that like, you know, impact you more than you would think. Like we all use garlic, right? Like we all have, like that is something that you like, but you don't think about like where does that come from? You know, is that something that, you know, how does it get to your table essentially? So like finding sort of the backstory was a lot of fun.
Got a story that you're working on now?
What am I working on right now? I'm working on a story about Bitcoin right now. Yeah. Bitcoin is like shot up in the last couple months. Yeah, it's like it's trading at something like $2,700 per Bitcoin. So yeah. Just looking at why that is and some of the reasons sort of behind that.
Nice to meet you. Congratulations on being honored tonight.
Yes, my name is Jaime Jarrín. I have been the voice of the Digest for the last 29 years, and I have been a member of the Press Club for many, many years. I know this organization. It's a great organization. I remember that about 50 years ago, I used to come to the Press Club to cover press conferences for radio station KWKW. I have been on radio for practically 55 years, and my main goal has been to serve the community, the Latino community of Southern California.
That's an amazing legacy that you have, isn't it?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
How does that feel to sort of say all that out loud? Is it wonderful to hear how much you've accomplished?
It is a great night for me, for my family. My wife is here, my sons are here. So for the family, it is fantastic. I appreciate very much, and I feel humbly happy of being honored tonight by the Press Club.
One more just like the other. Thank you.